Hello, Marina. Thank you so much for being with us. Everyone, we got Marina Abramovic visiting to speak with us, so we're in for a bit of a treat. So you've gotta be somewhere. Yes, I have got to get to New York for a new performance piece that I'm doing called Rawn in the City. It's where I climb the Empire State Building and stab my breast. Wow, that's certainly interesting. Well, I appreciate your taking the time to be with us. Sure, certainly. It seems that you've got a British accent. I didn't remember you being British. My accent changes depending on where I've spent time, and recently I've spent a bit of time in England. Oh, no, that definitely explains it. So could you just maybe spend a little bit of time talking about your piece, The Lovers? Oh, yes, the piece that I did with my love cake. Excuse me, love cake? Yes, that's what I called him. He was my love cake and I was his buttercup. Right, I see. That's interesting. Yes, well, I don't expect for you to understand. It's a true love thing. You obviously don't get it. I can tell from your demeanor that you've never been in love. Okay, I don't even have time to deal with that right now. Anyways, could you just expand maybe on the piece itself? Yes, sure. So, my love cake and I walked the Great Wall of China. It was an epic piece about love and... Oh, I hate to interrupt you, but your publicist is rushing me along here, so do you think that maybe you could just kind of cut to the chase? Well, what exactly was it that you wanted to know? Well, it's just, whenever I thought about the piece, I didn't think of it as being about lovers per se. I was thinking of it as being more about this experience of uncharted territory and kind of just seeing what would happen in these different circumstances and going from there. Well, Carissa, I think that your ideas are perfectly valid. That's one of the beautiful things about art, is that you can't put a stamp on the interpretation of it. You produce work, and what the public does with it is out of your hands. Ultimately, you have little control over a person's experience because each person brings different circumstances to the piece. With the lovers, Love Cake and I, Yule, had to change our plans numerous times in order to adhere to Chinese policy. In the end, we have to do what needs to be done in order for the peace to happen. And the experiences that come from that are original in their own right, because they may not have been exactly what we dreamed up originally. I understand what you're saying. That's interesting. So you're saying that even if I may have had one experience with it, that's completely okay, even if it does differ from how maybe you all are planned for it to be understood. That's quite right. Like I said before, we had to change our plans, but that didn't change the significance of the walk for us. It allowed me, with time, to sort of sort out my life in a new way. I was in a new place, so there were these foreign surroundings inspiring me, but then also I had a new life circumstance where when I got home I was not going to be with a partner any longer. It gave me time to sort of understand that one's life is solo. You don't share it with anyone else. It's a very lonely process, and in walking I was able to experience that sort of dependency on oneself. In a new way, I was in a new place, so there were these foreign surroundings inspiring me, but then also I had a new life circumstance where when I got home I was not going to be with a partner any longer. It gave me time to sort of understand that one's life is solo. You don't share it with anyone else. It's a very lonely process, and in walking I was able to experience that sort of dependency on oneself. Motivation would change from day to day. Some days I would think of walking to meet my love cake, being back with him, even if we weren't lovers anymore. He was something that was familiar, and that drove me to keep going. Other days, just the simple exploration aspect, wanting to see what was around the next corner or what would happen when I climbed over the next mountain. Some days I was motivated by physical needs. I was hungry and knew that in order to get food, I would have to keep going. It sort of trains you to approach art making in a different way, because each one of those experiences, each day was a new piece. Each bit of the walk was a new piece in its own right. And as the motivation shifted, so did the purpose of the piece. So, yes, it's about two people who were spiritually attached at one point and always will be, but also there's so much more to the piece that may not always necessarily be publicized and could never really be publicized because it will be different. No one had the experience of walking there but me and him and the people with us, and even each of the people there had a different experience. So it's only fair that you feel justified in your feelings of wanting it to mean something different, because it very well may mean that for you, and that's completely okay. Well, thank you so much for that. I'm getting a signal from your publicist saying that you've got to go, so... Oh, really? Is it time already? Well, thank you for having me. No, you don't have to thank them. You should thank me. I'm the one who invited you. Oh, well, thank you for inviting me. You're very welcome. Have a safe trip, and we'll look forward to hearing all about your stabbing piece. Yes, thank you.